Both pain and pleasure were experiences we all had in our lives. This is a natural process of being human. But here's the thing. So if you think you're living far more in pleasure than in pain, you're probably kind of living in an illusion. In fact, you're pushing something away or just hiding it because you don't even know it. It might be an emotion that you are burying, an aspect of yourself you are ignoring. What you're feeling may be an illusion. When you believe you can't stand the pain anymore, that you're suffering more than you're enjoying life, that also can be an illusion. Here's the truth. They're not as solid as we think. Both happiness and sadness, pleasure and pain. These are just temporary emotions. They are little stories that our minds tell us. They are masks. Masks covering up who we really are. There are feelings like a play switching between tragedy and comedy, but we do not recognize that there is more behind the scenes. As soon as you start balancing your thoughts, your mind starts to calm and pain and pleasure begin to melt away. It's as if they aren't so important anymore. Let's think about it this way. Suppose you are simply hammering a nail into a piece of wood. Then suddenly, your thumb is smashed with the hammer and you miss. Ouch! Isn't that something you would feel on that sharp pain? You may curse, jump around, feel totally overwhelmed by the pain. But now picture this. The doorbell rings just as you're about to scream in pain. You lunge for the door by still holding your sore thumb. The door opens and it's someone saying, "Congratulations, you won $50 million in the lottery." Now what happens? Something shifts. However, when you get that sharp pain in your thumb, it doesn't hurt as much anymore. In reality, you will hardly notice it. What you are focusing on really is the excitement, the shock of winning, the fact that you're winning. In that moment, you're no longer in pain and your attention is completely off of it. Here's what this tells us. Both pain and pleasure take a back seat on the stage when they are balanced perfectly like that. And we are left with something much bigger, a sense of peace, a sense of presence. These are fleeting emotions. Our true nature is beyond that. Focusing less on the extremes where the pain and pleasure reside, we begin to notice the bigger picture and the deeper truth that's always been there in the front of our eyes. So the next time you find yourself caught up in a moment of pain or chasing after pleasure, remember this: both are temporary. Neither exists to tell you who you are. They are shadows of nothingness blinking in your mind's sky. Once you find balance, once you don't cling as tightly to one or the other, you can see the world in so much richer, much fuller a way. You can flow into a place that is consistent in love, that has peace as a base, and that everything else dissolves into. This isn't just about visceral denial or refusing to feel or let yourself be happy. It's about knowing that both of them are dancing in two different parts of life's dance. And they're both part of the journey, but they don't have to rule our lives. When we learn to enjoy both of them without letting them consume us, we allow ourselves a new kind of freedom, the ability to live fully, free from being used and cached by throwaway feelings. Pain and pleasure are always in that perfect sort of balance, even if we don't think it is. We spend every moment of our lives looking at pain or pleasure. We do not care about both. This is why we either feel happiness or we get hurt. Reality is, but there's always the two sides inside of what we go through, regardless of what it is. Regardless whether we are young or old, poorer or richer, alone or surrounded by people, when sick or when healthy, there is both pain and joy. A small, humble home can be as happy a place as you would find sadness in a mansion. You may have found yourself in situations, and when you pull it back, you see it's the same thing, just presented in different ways. And there are always two opposites, the feeling of pain and the feeling of pleasure, and nothing ever changes as time ever changes, as those opposites appear one in front of the other, but not in different places. They may be in more pain, they may be in less pain, but they're always there, adjusting one another in the background of our beings. You can see this balance at any moment, how pain and pleasure work together. This fact will bring your mind back to balance as soon as you realize it. When you do this, something incredible happens. It's like you turn a light inside you on. Then all the love and positive energy begins to flow in all from you that you didn't even know you had. This just blows me away. Something so simple can be the key to unlocking such powerful energy. It's like electricity, something hidden, out of sight, until you turn the switch and make the connection. Suddenly, everything changes. It was there all along, so it wasn't really a big surprise. Quite literally, love has much less to do with human relationships and more to do with a state where there is no separation. In fact, that's when you cease to see yourself as anything but another element into the system. It is that moment when there is no me and them, and no I and you, no mine and yours. Everything is simply one. You are physically and spiritually connected to everything and everyone. Experience one of these states of deep connectedness, and it seems like you stepped outside of the state of consciousness in which you live. It is something ancient philosophers in Hinduism especially have spoken of for thousands of years. When you achieve to this state of awareness, we begin to realize that all is reflected in the eye of you. Everything, the people, places and things around you are not apart from you. They are all part of the same whole. That's what makes you special. That doesn't mean you are perfect or rare in some way people perceive it. The amazing part here is you can do this. Then your dreams aren't a faraway dream anymore. They are within your grasp. Now you start to see that you have the power to create your life, to make your destiny. Why? And if you get to this state of balance, this state of love, that is an endless stream of probabilities. You open yourself up for your infinite potential that has been present there all along, just waiting for you to show up and feel it. Love, balance. You open the door to your limitless power. At the heart of all this, there is one simple truth. When you stop being separate from the world, you realize everything is connected. Also in this regard, you'll discover everything you ever needed. There is a balance of the pain and the pleasure, the love and the light. If only you can recognize, accept, and embrace it. You are a whole, complete being, but sometimes your mind plays with you and tells you that you're not. Often you may end up rejecting parts of yourself, hiding certain traits or emotions you don't like. We tell ourselves we're good, positive, that the bad, negative stuff is not us. If we do that, we're rejecting half of who we are. The fact of the matter is, the negative feelings we partially push away are right there. They stay for a little while, but will show up again and again and again in other areas of life in ways we don't expect. This is something you'll also notice if you begin to attract people who have those same traits you want to not see. Such partner might be displaying those very qualities that you don't like about yourself, or friends or co-workers who push your buttons or expose those issues. The more you try to run from these parts of you, the more they'll show up. It's like a thing that keeps going back around to the same place. You can't ignore these parts of yourself forever. They're waiting for you to acknowledge them. You can't run from your truth. All of you, light and dark, good and bad, all of you is your whole self. When the universe created you, it didn't make mistakes. These are parts of you, and these are there to lead you. The more you begin to see this, the more you start to acknowledge all parts of yourself, you'll feel lighter. You won't any longer feel like you have to hide parts of yourself and feel like you're carrying a burden. You'll instead learn that the good and the bad are needed to make you whole. How then does one begin this journey of acceptance? It begins with gratitude. When you open your heart and come to understand that you're a part of something so much greater than you, a complicated, exquisite universe of which you're a part of, you begin to understand that everything about you is purposeful. You don't have to try and chase away your emotions or fix everything. The key that opens your heart is gratitude, which allows love and peace to flow through your life. Grateful is a slab of time where you are present in what you are doing, fully in the moment. A lot of us choose to jump from one emotion to the other again and again, to be happy and never sad. Running away from difficult emotions or denying a part of yourself isn't true fulfillment, but it's all too easy. Accepting all who you are, including the parts you've been told to repress, is a fulfillment. When you only focus on one side or the other, either the positive or the negative, you bank yourself out of enjoying the fullness of life. When you accept both, real fulfillment happens. This is about not being judgmental about when you are in the light and when you are in the dark. It is only when you start to stop trying to like or accept all of these opposing emotions that something much greater becomes available to you. When you stop resisting your feelings, it's a deeper sense of peace. You don't have to pick happiness or sadness to experience you. It's being in the knowledge that you don't have to pick. Your emotions don't define you. You are greater. When you can see it and embrace that, you step into a deeper link with yourself, with others, and the world. You are an entire being, created perfectly, intended to heal every part of you, the bad and the good. You can't run from your fullness, but when you stop running and accept, you'll see the beauty in every part of you. This is how you actually start to feel free, totally free to be you, regardless. In that freedom, you will find a love that's always loved you. It's just waiting for you to let it in. The unified field theory is like a hidden force, like some powerful energy that we're a part of. But the force that can make people immortal, not in the way that we usually think, but on a deeper, spiritual level. When you allow yourself to tap into this source, when you allow yourself to use it completely, you become capable of so much more. That moment, whatever you dream, whatever you hope for, is in your hands. You'll start to notice that your dreams aren't unreachable anymore. They're right up your face, waiting for you to take them. Everything changes when you are aligned with this force. You realize that is why you are here, what your purpose is. You feel both clear and certain all of a sudden, as if wrapped up in a blanket. You can't feel your certainty. Your head feels cleared up and the haze seems to lift. And you can focus that thought, and all of a sudden, you know you're on the right path. You know what your dreams are not, just fantasies, but are real possibilities for you. Feeling worthy for your dreams is the key to bring them to reality. If you can start to truly believe you deserve everything you dream of, that the dreams of that kind that will appear. The strongest and most stubborn thoughts you have become the reality that stares back at you. If you think about what you want, then hold it with gratitude. The universe begins to match that energy. What you give thanks for is what you will attract to your life. This is the power of us all. You are enabled to build whatever you can think of. It's not from some magic trick or random chance point. It's about love and gratitude. The stronger your connection to that energy is, because the more love and gratitude you have in your heart. It's like being a magnet that attracts the things you want, the things you deserve. The energy you put into the universe is the universe that is reflected back to you. The more you love and appreciate what you have, the more it pays you forward. This all would not happen if it weren't for your self-worth. When you love yourself, when you feel that you matter, you send a powerful signal to the world around you. That signal draws to you what resonates with your energy. It makes you closer to things you want and possible. The more you love yourself, the more you let your dreams come in. And here's the most beautiful part. That's when your true power comes in, when you know within your soul that you are loved no matter what. Didn't have or do much, but that wasn't the point. In other words, it's about the fact that you are loved simply because you are. That said, it's incredibly powerful knowledge. It can move mountains and seem possible impossible. You are the carrier of the biggest strength the world ever had when you've carried that love with you. When you can fully see the pain of things and the pleasure. When you can see the light side and the dark side of things. The light of understanding begins to illuminate through your eyes. It's like a light bulb going on inside your head. We think life should be all good, all sweet, and all easy for so long. In truth, life works differently though. That's when we learn the most. It's in the moments of struggle and challenge. It's in the difficult times that we grow the most. Whether they are in our lives or not, our closest persons, the good or bad, are all very important in becoming who we are. The ones that will push you out of your comfort zone, they might not look helpful at first. They also have an important role to play, but they teach us to be stronger, to stand and face challenge, and to grow stronger in ways we never expected. Supportive people give us strength when we feel we can't. They stand by. Both sides are needed. Encouragement and challenge, love and discomfort is what we need in order to really learn and grow. This part of us, this human nature, wants smooth, comfortable, easy. We crave the easy road. We want all of this to be nice and pleasant. Life, however, only gives us this, and we wouldn't learn anything. The hard times, the challenges, they're the strength of them. Because without the hard times, without the challenges, we wouldn't know what we're truly capable of. We wouldn't find out how strong we are. Some of us wouldn't evolve into the best versions of ourselves. We look for the good and we miss out on the bad, because we do need it too. We think we want it every which way. We want full positivity. We want full pleasure. And life, as deep, deep wisdom always does, abhors such a simple solution. This provides us both sides, the good and the bad. We can learn to value balance. Chasing the positive or chasing the negative, we miss the picture altogether. Quite literally, it's the tension between the two that reveals to us what we really have to learn. Perhaps the ideal life does not contain struggle or pain. However, it is not where intimate growth happens. We go searching for one simple, one-sided experience in life and forget that life is made of contrasts. There is truth on both sides of the story, light and dark. This is where we have peace and enlightenment. It's in accepting that both are necessary. Life doesn't want us to choose one side or the other. It simply asks us to accept both. The more we can accept both sides, the lesser is the effort we need to make constantly to bring peace within us. The closer to true wisdom, the more that if we are willing to open ourselves to both the good and the bad, the easy and the hard, we are getting. As we begin to understand and accept these contrasts, we begin to recognize the world more clearly, more with love, more with understanding, and more compassion. This is the duality balance. It is where it gets wiser to remember that the pleasure and the pain, light and dark, are all stages of the same path. We are one with and without. Now, when we are finally ready to live with the balance of the problems and the pain, without trying to push it away, sometimes without even realizing it, this is when we are ready for real growth and enlightenment. True wisdom is not about avoiding the hard times. It's about learning how to look at the bad as well as the good as part of the whole. We can only become enlightened only if any coin has two sides, heads and tails. It's so easy to imagine life and also self-worth in the same vein. Imagine each of your experiences, each moment of your life, as if each were a coin. You pick them up one by the next, your self-worth building. But now, let's say you still just want the heads of the coin, the good side. But here's the thing. Whenever you have the chance to accept the full coin from someone, if you only focus on the positive, you'll push it away if they try to give you the whole coin. You don't want the tails of that die. Ultimately, this means you reject the negative side of the coin and the entire coin. If we in life accept only the good and try to run away from the bad, we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to be better. Neither side of the coin is useful for us until we come together and learn from both. To try to avoid pain, people spend their whole lives crashing after pleasure. We believe if we had a better job, a better relationship, or more money, life would be wonderful, easier and better. And once we get what we want, it doesn't always lead to the happiness we imagined. That thing we're chasing. It simply turns the challenges we encounter into additional challenges. We throw away problems, but we never get rid of them. We just make them show up in a brand new package. Setting yourself up for disappointment is when you believe that if you can just acquire a new car, house, job, or relationship, you'll be a perfect person with perfect life. It's the same as thinking you'll only see the good side of the coin. If you get what you want, then it comes with something you didn't expect. New struggles, new challenges, new pain. That's not an argument that you shouldn't look for things in your life. Goals are okay, but if you believe that everything will be better when you are rid of the bad, you are stuck in an illusion. It doesn't matter what you get it with both sides. It has its pleasures as well as its pains. But when you live your life thinking you can have only the good and not have the bad, you are actually creating yourself up for more disappointment. Pain can't be escaped forever. Sometimes we are happy and sometimes we are sad. It's part of being human. You can't change your emotions, but you can decide how to respond to them. In us, emotions like joy, sadness, love, or anger swing back and forth like a pendulum. Today you're top of the world, and yesterday you feel like shredding. It's exhausting, isn't it? This is part of life. And the truth is, in your physical body, you will experience duality. You'll have attraction and repulsion, happiness and sadness, pleasure and pain. There are so many swings between opposites in life. This is all part of learning how to live your life with the skill set that you are trying to acquire. And while these ups and downs might make it seem tough, they actually help you to grow. Part of your journey, part of your moving toward your true self. Growth happens at the highest level when you don't have to choose one side or the other. True power lives in the space in between the extremes, where you have the space to create the life that you want. This brings me to a very powerful statement. All emotions are lies. Yes, you read that right. Every emotion you have is a half-truth. It's not the full story. The truth is love. That's the only thing that really does exist. And fear, and anger, and sadness, and joy, all of that is just a distortion of that truth. Everything is built on love. We get lost in our emotions, and our emotions define us. We let them control our lives instead of recognizing them for what they really are. A few temporary feelings that come and go. Think about it. You have a control over something if you love it. However, if you come up with a new emotional reaction each time of whatever you're reacting to, you're giving away your power. You lose control. You have only one power in love. Love transcends emotions. This isn't something that comes and goes based on your mood the way you might think. There's a constant, stable force present outside emotional ups and downs. Love is blind, is what people usually say. Love, however, isn't blind. It sees everything clear. It puts its perspective on both sides of every situation. Emotions are blind, while on the other hand, emotions are feelings, and emotions are feelings. To their eyes, they see only pleasant or unpleasant. When we live emotionally with infatuation or resentment, we give away our power. We let others put us in their head and actually trigger our emotions. That's why learning to detach from emotional reactions and just loving is so critical. Love is mutuality of experience balance. To receive praise or affection isn't all there is to it. It's also about receiving challenge and possibly reprimand. In fact, it's true love when you can take the praise and the challenge, the highs and the lows. In a sense, that's the gift of being alive, to see both sides of everything. That's the divine will at work in our lives. All of life is about balance. Everything has two sides. There is a balance we see in the natural world. For instance, the Great Plague of the 14th century. The Black Death devastated Europe and killed millions, but it also led to something surprising. For many people today, immunity to AIDS. That plague killed off the old feudal systems that held people in poverty and illiteracy. Life came out of death, evolution out of destruction. This is the duality of life at work. Pain, growth, destruction, creation. You might think that life should always go as you please, but there's another truth. A divine justice system is in action. It cannot be disturbed. You may have noticed you don't really like it when someone tries to praise you too much. For instance, when you even start putting yourself down. When another person criticizes you, are you trying to lift yourself up? This is the divine justice system catching up. This universal balance is perfect. No human system of justice can equal it. We don't understand why, but we do trust. To find peace and power in life, you must embrace the good and the bad, as well as the positive and negative. Once you figure out that both halves of that experience are a part of a bigger picture, you stop fighting life. You will stop swinging from lows to highs. But what you'll actually find is a steady center with true power. This is the gift of life. Having joy, sorrow, love, challenge, creation, and destruction in balance. If you are still judging yourself for your actions or lack thereof, still beating yourself up, it's time to stop. Time to stop and see how that situation has served you and everyone else inside. We forget the bigger picture and get so involved in guilt or regret. But the reality is, everything has its place and nothing goes to waste. If it doesn't, it wouldn't have a place. Balance in life, no matter how small, is everything. If we've done anything bad, even if we know we've done it, there is always good that comes from it, whether we can see it initially or not. But you might think that when you hurt someone or make a mistake, all you've done is cause pain. Then what if that pain could actually serve a bigger purpose for you and even for the other person? In a sense, everything has its function either physically or on a deeper level. Your toughest times, the things you'd give anything to change, have helped you where you are today. Whether they like it or not, they have shaped you. They have made you stronger, more aware. That doesn't mean denying your mistakes or shirking responsibility. It's just a reminder that everything is part of the bigger picture, and nothing just happens. When you stop punishing yourself, when you're finally seeing that your mistakes are not the end of the world, you know it's time to stop. You've tried the best you could possibly do with what you knew then. Time to be beautiful. Leave the past in the past. Stop letting past errors keep you stuck where you are. They've served their purpose. It's now time for you to learn from them and let go. If there's a part of yourself, a fragment of your life, that you think is too difficult to love, something you feel isn't worthy of love, just know this: it's all an illusion. The thought, belief is a lie. No matter the deeds or inactions, you are worthy of love. We all deserve to be loved because we exist. Try this affirmation. Despite everything I've done or haven't done, I am worthy of being loved. Say, if your only tendency is to see anything as good or bad, you're living in a one-sided world. When we think this way, we feel that the only or important side of life is the real one. But life is not that simple. You don't realize, because when you're focused on the one side, you're not seeing the other side. Then you're attracting the opposite of that side, because everything is trying to balance itself out. This is how the world works. If we only look at the positive, then we might be surprised by unexpected challenges or things that wouldn't be good to us and remind us of the positive. However, once we understand that the bad things actually need the good ones to balance that, then we start to realize that everything the way it is actually perfect. These are not things happy or sad, light or darkness. These are all a combination of these things. This is life's true nature. Some are embracing both sides, but without judgment, we should. And when we do this, then we are at risk of what I call unconditional love. Love of everything, whether it's good or bad. Think about light. It's positive and negative particles as well. To make the light we see, they have to be perfectly in harmony with each other. Just as there must be the bad for the good to teach you what that experience or what you have learned is, so must there be the light. How can it be so far from us? It's hard to believe that our actual nature is pure, unconditional love. There is unconditional love in the center of everything. That's because that love is love, and that love comes from those who love you without condition, without expectation. So what we feel emotionally, happiness or sadness or anger, is all conditional. It is all set in motion by what's going on in our lives. The waves are all pulling us to their opposite, and by that, back to the center, back to what we call the ocean of unconditional love.